Heather, I don't feel like it.
Oh my God, Rob! It's like the 30,000th time you said that.
Sorry.
Who are you?
Oh, hey, I'm Rob48 from Rob48.com.
And I'm Heather Markel from BoldToBrilliance.com.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about what do you do when you just don't feel like doing stuff.
It's exactly, yeah.
It's hard.
It
Running
is.
a business is hard sometimes.
It really, ugh.
And there are sometimes tasks and things you need to do, but you have trouble finding the motivation to do them. You're waiting till you just feel like it's the right time.
Mm-hmm. Or until you have to do it. Wait till you absolutely have to do it and keep procrastinating on it. Yeah.
On and on.
Yeah.
You keep putting on your to-do list like day after day after day
Mm-hmm.
because you just don't feel like it. You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of feel like feelings don't really have the best place in business.
Well, I think intuition does, like your feeling on whether, say, an investment is the right one or an opportunity is the right one. Feelings could actually help you out.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take that. I like to disagree with Rob in case you haven't seen my other videos. It's just like a fun thing that I do. I really love him and I love his tips. Do listen to his tips, but also listen to mine. So, yeah.
But what if it's like I've got like 5 people to follow up with, let's say.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like making phone calls.
Right. So this is the thing. I actually have a wonderful client who kind of knew some of the selling things she should be doing, but and also money tracking is another one that like people just sort of they want the money but they don't want to track it, and so it's like they don't know how or they don't feel like it, and so what happens is there's these roller coaster revenue months because all that stuff that you don't feel like doing is the stuff that would help you not have a roller coaster month. And so I think one thing that happens is if you, especially if you're like working with a coach or a friend who can really help you to understand the way to have consistent money months, it makes, as you do those things and you see the result where the money's more consistent, the money is higher, you get better jobs. I think that provides some motivation, so you get over the I don't feel like it, and you start doing it.
So it's almost as if you're taking the I don't feel like it feeling of those tasks and you have to sort of almost transfer it to, well, I'm going to feel like being able to eat next month. I'm going to feel like being able to pay my mortgage.
Right.
I'm going to feel like being able to, go out with my friends.
Yeah.
So then it becomes about feeling a little bit about the consequences of not doing the things that you don't feel like you're in the mood to really do.
So, and I'll also say that the I don't feel like it thing, that's sort of like, for me in my world of bull busting, it's a degree of bullshit. There's usually, right? Because it's like BS. I just said bullshit, but he says BS. So, because, usually, so let's take selling, which is like the #1 BS zone for a lot of people, right?
Things, yep.
So, and why don't you feel like selling or making sales calls or following up? Because you don't want to annoy anyone. Okay, I get it.
You don't want to get rejected, probably. That's for a lot of people.
There's that, yeah. There's like, what am I going to say on the phone? I mean, there's so many different like versions of why I shouldn't be calling. And so one really great thing about one is figuring out what is your bullshit about sales calls and kind of confronting it. And when you start doing it, so I'm going to stick with the sales call example, when you start making sales calls, usually at least my clients find that they go much better than they expected, and the universal result they all have is that none of them have died for making a sales call. Right? So you don't need to fear death.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that because I've often felt like I was going to die when I had to make sales calls.
Right.
So really nobody you've ever known has actually died from making sales calls.
They didn't even go to the hospital. In fact, they might have actually celebrated and maybe had a drink or had a good meal because they got money in.
Yeah.
Woo! From the sales calls.
Exactly.
Imagine that, I'm just saying.
It happens.
Yeah.
It does happen. They do. There's a reason people make sales calls because you can make money from doing it.
Correct.
So.
But what else, what do you find your clients don't feel like doing?
A lot of it is they don't feel like doing things on a consistent basis. You know, like those, like maybe you have a newsletter, or you know, you've been very active on social media for a while, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't feel like doing that today.
Yeah.
And in the marketing world, you really need to be consistent to get results.
Yes.
If you show up sporadically, well, then people don't know how to, you know, they don't know where to find you, they can't count on you, you'll become a resource for them. And I think too, when you start giving into the I don't feel like it, you then start slacking off a lot of times, and you give yourself permission to not show up and not be a resource and not be there for your customers.
Yes.
I think it grows.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree with you, and I think that I think we're really good at making excuses, and I think what I was going to say is that when it comes to the consistency piece, right? Ideally, at some point, you get a feel for what you like doing and what you don't feel like doing, right? And as you're starting a business, you have to do some of the stuff you don't feel like doing. It's just you have to. But the nice thing is, if you're willing to step in and do that stuff that you don't feel like doing, the result is more profit. And with that profit, you can hire someone to do some of the stuff you don't feel like doing.
So then I can say, I don't feel like doing this, you should do this for me.
And I'll be like, yay, I love accounting! And I'll do it for you, right? And so that's what shifts. And it's by confronting the I don't feel like it that you earn enough money to kind of delegate what you don't like or what you're not even good at to someone else.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But sometimes you have to, I guess, almost suck it up in some of the departments of the I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
As harsh as that sounds, it's something you have to work through and find it. And maybe it's about identifying exactly, okay, what is it about this? Maybe it's not the whole task. There's something particular about an aspect of this task that you don't feel like doing. So if you can pinpoint that and address it, then it might turn into a task that you really enjoy. Say something you're not comfortable doing, you don't feel like you have the knowledge. Well, if you ask someone to teach you, or you get some advice, or you watch some videos on how to do something, and you get comfortable with the task, it may turn into something you actually enjoy doing in the end.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. So when I first started out, I actually hated the idea of doing a workshop. And I actually hated videos for a while, right? I mean, I wouldn't do videos because I hated how I looked on camera. I was like, I came up with every excuse ever. Now I love videos because I kind of,
it's because you have me, right?
Oh, definitely because I have you, because you make me look great. But anyway, and workshops, I was afraid nobody would show up if I did a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've done workshops where it's a full house. I've done workshops where 3 people have shown up. It doesn't matter because either way, I'm either practicing something new or I'm getting to interact with people more or less intimately. So, and across the board, like workshops have been a great revenue source for me that I never would have tapped into if I stuck in my I don't feel like it kind of voice in my head.
Mm-hmm. That's great. It's great to hear that. So, summarize a little bit, maybe, when I don't feel like it, what's an action step I could take right away?
Well, one is we said, sorry, gotta suck it up if you're starting out.
Suck it up.
Suck it up. 1. 2, I think we said is, look at, what did we say? I would like confusing all of our videos on like the planning and the focusing.
Pinpoint maybe what it is about a specific task that makes you not feel like it or makes you uncomfortable.
Right, so that was like my bullshit theory, sort of like what am I avoiding? What's my biggest fear if I do this thing? And then doing the thing and knowing that you're not going to die. And that you could actually, as you were saying, pay your mortgage, get some food, like do all that kind of stuff.
The roller skating!
Oh, the roller skating! Yes, awesome. Just what I wanted to do. Or rollerblading, isn't that like the cool thing?
As long as I can, in a place where they play music and, they do goofy stuff, like, hey, it's Ladies' Choice!
We could put music on here and it would like
we could just dance.
Yeah, we could just dance. Oh my god. Woo! Yeah, totally. Whoa, you could probably get paid for that kind of dancing. Add that to that last video I did of like ways to earn money. Woohoo! Yep, you're hustling.